So we'll stand, and I just want to, because we have kind of two new people here. Hi, Diane. Two new people on the call today. And I just want to, I mean, they're not new to me, but they're new to this potentially. So I just want to do a little check-in with how we're standing. And coming to stand the way you would stand. And this is kind of, don't make it pretty, right? This is more like, don't think about anything, come to standing, and then just take a little snapshot. And you can see right away for me here, I'm usually standing more on my left leg with my knees locked out, and that's not so good. Soften the hip, and then come a little bit more than shoulder distance apart. So I'm, hip distance, outer hip distance, shoulder distance, and you're just gonna come to a little forward bend here. We're gonna let the knees bend and let the head drop. And the more you can bend your knees here, almost the better. We're kind of creating a little ball shape while we're standing. Once you're up, just check it out. Just check out what's changed potentially already. Like I can feel the backs of my legs are way more engaged. My glutes are a little bit more on. And so slight bend in the knees. Now take your time. I want you to think about you're pushing the earth to the left and you're shifting to the right. And then you're going to push the earth to the right and you're going to shift to the left. Now notice though, when you go to the left, try not to side bend to the right. So we're trying to take the whole body width. Yeah. So you're going to just go, it's a little bit like ice skating or inline skating or something like that. And we're going to go to the ribs in a bit. But for now, just feeling, how do I stack? How do I connect my ribs to my pelvis? To the left with your hip. And then you're going to side bend. The ribs go to the left. You're going to side bend to the right. The arm just hangs. We're not going to pull anything. We're just going to go. And notice here, my head is following my spine. We're going to tone the left side now. That means probably you have to pull your left foot more into the ground. You're going to feel your glute turn on, and we're not pulling on the quadratus here. The ribs a little bit. So it means you might even rotate the rib cage a little bit over to the left. Now, it's getting crazy. Can you pick up maybe your left heel? Can you pick up maybe your left foot? You're going to side bend. Ribs are shifting to the left. But again, I'm not trying to create a lot of distance here. I'm just trying to create tone here. You're going to pick up maybe your right heel. And then maybe you pick up your right foot. You're going to look at your right foot. Or, toes can be down. This is still a lot of work. And release. Shake it out. Talk about it in a second. So first step, always pelvis. Sits bones hook down and back. The pelvis tips more forward. And then at the same time, we're going to soften our ribs. And notice how it takes my head a little forward. That's okay. And you're going to not look up, but maybe line. Squeeze the shoulders together. Lift your heart, lift your chin. And as you're here, can you still pull the knees apart and keep your diaphragm back? So don't go into the biggest cow that you got, because we're going to keep the kidneys slightly back, and I'm going to try to lift my heart, and I'm going to lift my chin. This is different. Turn the ribs. Now, as you're looking over that left elbow, can you take your right kidney a little more back in space and ground the right pelvis a little more? So we're not shifting, but we're staying very, very grounded in the hip. Let's go one more time to the other side. We're going to push with the left hand. We're going to pull with the right hand, rotating the ribs. Look over the right shoulder, push. There's a wall and you're saying stop. Lift the left ribs. Breathe the ribs up to the ceiling. Roll through the center. Inside the right thigh. Punching up, looking coming up, and then see, can you keep that arm as lifted as possible, but keep the kidneys back at the same time. And notice taking the kidneys back is probably gonna take your arm a little down. Yeah. And release, go one more time. I guess, I hope, specific. As you're lying, so I'm lying on my right side here, and I'm gonna take my ribs and soften them a little bit back. And take your head a little bit forward. So for the upper, notice if the foot gets to be tense, or the shin, or if you're feeling this a lot in your knee. We're going to try to consciously disengage the lower part of your leg, like shortly above the knee. Try to let that go. And we should be, sometimes we have to talk to our butt here and say, hey, you do it. It's called glute amnesia. One more time. Easy in the foot. Keep the kidneys back, keep the sits bones back, soften the ribs. And then bend your knee. If you feel the chin is way too high. And just check it out. Breathe and even compare, like consciously breathe and compare how the ribs are uneven. And the left side, I would guess you can breathe a little deeper. I'll show really quick what the single leg stretch would look like. We're, as it says, single leg, we're pulling one leg in as we're reaching the other leg out. Pretty much, that's kind of the idea. There's a little fancy hand work involved, but we don't even have to go there. So first, reach the arms up to the ceiling. We have our heavy shoulder. Did your pelvis tuck? Can you keep your sits bones slightly heavy and lift? That's abdominals, rectus, obliques, lots of neck work, right? And then we'll pick up the legs into a tabletop. Prettier, but I sometimes even like to do it with flexed feet. Just make sure you're not locking your knees. Now, keeping that left leg in, we're going to switch our breath. Inhale, exhale, bring the right knee in. Inhale, left leg, exhale, right leg. Can you maybe lift your pelvis a little higher? Can you pull through your shoulders a little more? Imagine you had to hold yourself down on the ground and then lower the pelvis down, straighten both legs. Let the legs turn out again. Maybe the palms face up, and just take a feel. I would argue probably your back is heavier on the floor again. And that's just because we work the back chain more. So there's always this playing together between front and back. And in the perfect world of bodies, there is equal strength and equal length. And that's what stands us up effortlessly, really. All right. Oh my God, we're done. Oh my God. So thank you very much. God, I was totally in a zone. I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.